Welcome back to Politics for the Culture. I'm your host, Senator Dwight Bullard. We're here. We've been talking to a bunch of guests here at the Miami-Dade Dems Blue Gala. I'm joined by none other than State Representative Kevin Chambliss of the great community of South Dade. I know a little bit of something about his district. I might have represented it at one point, but we're happy to have you on Politics for the Culture. Representative, how you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing good. It's a great evening. A lot of energy and excitement this evening. I can feel it in the air. The Democrats are well represented here this evening.
We love to hear it. So, I had a chance to talk with Chairman Gilbert about District 1, but we are down south folks.
Yes, right. Deep South Dade.
Good old Deep South Dade folks. And so we know that oftentimes our community, when we show up, we show out.
That's right.
We delivered in 08 for Obama.
We did.
08 and 12 for Obama.
Again.
So we go and do what we got to do. But
all the time.
But I'm curious about, oftentimes we don't get the love that we deserve.
That's right.
What's the message you kind of want to send to kind of like the Democratic establishment about making sure they go south to Flagler and come on down south to see what we got cooking down in South Dade?
As a priority, in the beginning and all the time, because the truth is, when you have a black mayor and full black commission, a majority black city who consistently votes for Democrats, we need the establishment to remember that when they vote, their votes go to the election supervisor just like everybody else's. It might take longer to drive there. It doesn't take longer for their votes to be counted. And so the message that I'm sending is we need to be at the top of the priority of communities that you seek to make sure that you put resources in, because we've been faithful. Mayor Wallace is one of the most faithful Democrats I've ever known.
Absolutely.
And we've been supportive. The trick is that when we are not pushing our message, when we're not communicating with those voters, they forget we exist. And we have to be there for them in season and out of season. As you know, in this particular role, we're not just elected officials, we're community leaders, and we're also people who are there in some of the worst times in our community. South Dade just had a gruesome scene coming off a bus. Youth violence that almost seemed to be instigated by adults that led to the death of a father. It's important that in times like that, the establishment is with them, because when you are with communities during their darkest hour, I promise you they'll be with you during in the voting booth during election season.
I hear that.
1st and 10, 40-yard line. This is the critical moment. All right, here we go. He takes the snap. He's looking deep. Green and blue are open. Will he go green? Will he go blue? It's a Hail Mary to blue, and it's good!
So here on Politics and Culture, we're always talking about black culture. We've talked to a few other Greek-affiliated folks. You're wearing your proud Sigma blue tie.
Shout out to Maxwell, Congressman Maxwell Frost.
There you go. And you're also a graduate of an illustrious HBCU.
Shout out to BI Jackson State University.
We love it. So, we really haven't had a conversation about the momentum around this D9, like energy that is trying to catapult VP Harris into the presidency. What can you tell us about how you are, and more importantly, your constitutionally mandated sister organization? How are they going to show up? What's the plan for Phi Beta Sigma, Theta Phi Beta to really engage in this election cycle?
Well, the Sigma Theta Vote Project, a program has been around for a long time. When I pledged, when I was in college, we were already doing that. And so the symbiotic nature allows us to have at a very, very high level. We've been having conversations at the level. Shout out to Brother Ray. who has made sure that we are at the table having the conversation, meeting with the right people, not just so that we can vote, but so that we can organize our community and mobilize our community. Our numbers are our strength, but our culture has always been community empowerment. And so you're seeing the rest of the world is seeing what we already know. We are ready for change. We were the people who instituted change in the first place. So, let's talk about it. We started this, we've been doing this. Now you're about to see us take it to the next level and the evolution of supporting Madam V.P. Harris, Kamala Harris, and Coach Waltz into the White House. You're going to see a member of the Divine Nine, who was a member of the Divine Nine before she sought political office, who chose to go to an HBCU when she could have easily gone to another school. You're going to see her in the most powerful position in the world, but she's overqualified, and the rest of the world will now see what we already knew. These institutions breed leadership.
Here. So, I haven't had a chance to ask this question to many of the guests, but because you are, to some degree, a transplant, a good transplant, but nonetheless, somebody who grew up in the deep, deep South.
Straight country of Mississippi.
There's a movement afoot, if you will, around trying to mobilize and remind people that black people in states like Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi are also important.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they've been left out of the larger political conversation because of the nature of racism, the fact that they're in these red states. But because we're a virtual, we're in the virtual space, we don't know where these videos are going to land. So I would love for you to send a message to your brethren, your sisters in states like Mississippi and Louisiana about why they need to lock in this election regardless of what the naysayers may say about this spaces.
So they've been keeping you out of politics intentionally, on purpose, because they knew that you were really the majority of the state. They didn't want you to vote. They didn't want you to vote out. They told you fabricated lies to make you think that you were voting in a Christian way by voting Republican. In other words, they only told you what happened. They didn't tell you all the other evil things that they've been planning the whole time. Guys, I've seen the awakening. I've seen the organization. And when the world saw that two police officers tortured two black men because a white woman was living in a house in Mississippi. When the rest of the world saw that, they were shocked. Guess what? If you were from Mississippi, you were not. Grew up with it, we've seen it. This is our moment to take back the future of our children. This is our time. I know that you're organizing. Keep the movement going, keep the energy going. Madam President is on the way.
That's it. You heard it from Mississippi's finest, but we got him here in District 117. Thank you, Rep. Chambliss, for being in politics for the culture.
Thank you for trailing the way, brother. We appreciate everything that you do. Trust me, I always measure myself to you, and I'm like, that's why he's from there, and I'm the transplant. Thanks, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.